if you're taking notes, number 3 is you're going to need to master AI. You're going to have to come to the table and deal with this AI thing. You are not going to be able to ignore it.
Well, something you said, Mike, about, and I love that you dropped the stats, was like over 300,000 job
Yeah.
losses that we experienced in, what was it, 2023, 24.
Yeah.
And I've seen that a lot, even in the agile space. And there have been reports that in particular agile professionals are struggling to find
Yeah.
work due to some of the changes that we talked about, combining roles. We haven't even touched the surface on that, right? Scrum master slash product owner slash do
Yeah.
everything.
Do everything on.
What trends are you seeing in the job market for agile practitioners? What do people need to be thinking about from either career growth, networking, skill development that would be helpful for them to get that next job kind of in the agile delivery space?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. My heart breaks as I see so many of the green circles go up on LinkedIn. And I have on a weekly basis, and probably you do this as well. It's at least one, but it's more like 2 or 3 messages a week from people just saying like, hey, I just got laid off, or I'm out looking, or can you review my resume or whatever. And so my heart breaks for that. I've been let go multiple times, probably 5 times in my career. And I know the heartbreak and angst that comes with it. And so before I sort of answer your question, I want to just start by sharing with anybody who finds himself in that boat. I just would share with you that your your job does not define you as a human. Your value is not found in your work. So please, if you're feeling sort of let down and discouraged, just hang on. Just have hope. You're gonna get something. And your job doesn't define who you are. So there's that. But more sort of, okay, well, tactically, what might we consider? I think there's like 3 areas that come to mind for me. And one is like, let's make sure that we've got the basic blocking and tackling down. So for example, you and I were able to sort of off the cuff jokingly talk about this idea of a sprint review and how that might be run and the purpose of the retrospective. Okay, but look, if you're going to play in this agile game, you need to be able to have that same sort of obligation. You got to be able to understand the basic like blocking and tackling of agile ways of working. So maybe you need to really sharpen those skills up and find some way to learn more about agile delivery, about yes, memorize the Scrum guide. Seriously, like memorize it. It's very short. It's not very hard. There's Scrum is just not very complicated. It's also purposefully incomplete. So like you hold it loosely,
Mm-hmm.
but you can memorize it. And then, get yourself understanding of Kanban and begin to read books like Extreme Programming Explained so you can deal with technology. Like there's that sort of aspect. So that's like number one. Let's be excellent with our craft. And then number two, I think is this idea of it sounds interesting. I was doing a podcast with a friend a few weeks ago, and the takeaway was, so Scrum Masters should become project managers. And I said that sort of off the cuff, but yeah, there's a whole bunch, Scrum Masters. I'm talking to you. There's a whole bunch that you're going to be expected to do in 2025 that you were never expected to do in 2019. We, as an organization, as leaders in organizations, we're going to want you to do more than make sure that then Jira is up to date and people know how to write a good user story. I don't actually need you to do that. What I need you to do is tell me, how is your team affecting top line revenue or bottom line cost reduction? Like, what is that? How much does your team cost? Do you know that, Scrum Master? Like, you should, because I tell you, your project managers, they know because they
Mm-hmm.
understand earned value delivery. So all the PMPs in the room now are like, yeah, I know what EVD is. I can tell you my schedule performance index, my cost performance index. Yeah, you can. Okay, Scrum Masters, I need you to be able to do that too. And if you don't know what I just said, that's what I mean by you're going to have to become part project manager. That is new. That's new. We didn't used to talk this way. We used to say agilists are agilists and project managers are project managers. We're really all just project managers. Like we need to really be able to get that discipline back. And then number 3, if you're taking notes, number 3 is you're going to need to master AI. You're going to have to come to the table and deal with this AI thing. You are not going to be able to ignore it. So get smart about large language models. Understand like how data matters. Understand how to secure your data. Begin to understand how AI will impact the world of agility. Because at the end of the day, if you're a Scrum Master who's just updating Jira, I'm going to do something like say, "Hey, Spinach, can you update that ticket for me?" And it's going to do it, and I will not need you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my three, for what it's worth, free piece of, you get what you pay for, piece of advice.
I love it. So let me make sure I distilled it. Be excellent in our craft. So it's
Yeah.
knowing that Scrum guide, get a better understanding of Kanban. I wrote down recognize that you are a PM. And number three, master AI. And I think those are fantastic tips for people, especially the fact about the PM. I'm so glad that you said that because I have seen so many times on LinkedIn where people want to debate about the two. And at the end of the
Oh,
day,
come on.
right?
Yeah.
Our businesses don't care.
No,
Like if
they're
you
not going to tolerate that.
they're gonna call me honey boo boo, and if they're gonna
Mm,
pay me, I'm gonna get the work done. So just know that if you try to put yourself in a box, it is a surefire way of
yeah.
you no longer being necessary in the organization. You're a project delivery professional.
There it is. Yeah.
Whether it is you
Yeah.
are implementing agile practices, implementing through traditional project management, they want the job done.
Mm,
And if you go in there and talk about, you're making me become a project manager, welcome.
maybe.
You are
Yeah.
knighted.
Yeah. I say jump in with both feet, really.
Yeah.
Uh, my PMP is coming up for renewal here in about 4 months, and I'm looking at my PDUs, and I'm like, oh, like I gotta get, I have some to earn,
I
but I
got
have
something
every,
for you.
I was hoping,
We'll talk about it later.
I figured you were gonna send me a link later, but I get my discount code. But anyway, so but yeah, it's important. It's important. Now, I'm not saying everybody has to go earn their PMP. That's hard, and you have to have experience. But you work with Crystal, and she'll help you get that certification. But man, the two cannot be two separate camps where we just throw sticks at each other. Like, no, 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 no.
Right.
That
I
can't be.
I'm absolutely with you on that, Mike. And I think that probably one of the smartest, most strategic moves that PMI did with incorporating agile
Yeah,
into
yeah,
the PMP structure, right? Like at the end of the day, even PMI was being responsive to industry where they said, look, I need people who understand this agile stuff because it's already expensive trying to, let them go hire somebody else. But if I can keep that person in the organization who has the institutional knowledge, knows our ways of working,
yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
can adapt, right? And see that there's more than just creating this monstrosity of a project management plan and creating Gantt charts, but they can roll with the punches and say, hey, yes, I can adapt, and I'm going to put together a team for 5 days, build you a working product and showcase it, and they can do that. That is worth their weight in
I agree.
gold. And I think that's an incredible position that they've done, um, by incorporating more agile so that it not only puts the newly minted PMPs in a position to have that awareness, but a lot of people get excited, at least from my
Mm.
courses. They're like, I think I want to do more, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh
learn
yeah.
more because I do hear rumblings about let's be more agile. Let's think about some of these practices. So I appreciate you saying that. So
Oh well, you're right on with that, and I think when we consider how we do agile project management, sometimes you'll say agile project management, people will say, oh my gosh, there's no such thing as projects in agile, and it's like, well, two things. One, Scrum Guide says that your sprint is a mini project, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. But two is, of course, there's projects in Agile. What on earth are you even talking about? People like the board funds pays for things, and those are their projects. That's what everybody knows what projects are. They're not going away.
Mhm.
They're just not. And look, I'm not trying to say we shouldn't have a product mindset versus a project mindset. Yes, because if it's, I already talked about this, right? Unless you're doing something that's completely repeatable with no potential changes happening, then you're going to need some form of adaptive delivery. And we believe Agile is the way to do that. Then yeah, but we're going to have products, and that's a kind of different mindset. I'm
Mhm.
for that. But everything is projects. There's just projects all around us. I don't think we get away from it. And at KaiRise, we believe that, and I'm in the studio this summer, and we're putting finishing touches on our next certified course called Agile Project Management. It's like
Love it.
it's all about how, and it's really written for project managers that want to learn about agility. So I start from a project management approach and say, and so here's how you might consider stakeholder management. Here's how you might consider, speaking of the racy, here's how you might consider stakeholder management from an agile perspective, and we give them
Mhm.
tools, tips, and practices. And so anyway, we expect to have that released this fall.
Oh, congratulations. I can't wait to hear about it. I definitely want to check it out. So, what do you think of this episode so far? Things are getting pretty juicy, right? Well, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow us on our social media platforms for updates and more insights into the world of project management and on tips on how you too can be a better project manager. Thanks so much for listening.